Hello. Happy Monday, everyone. I am so excited to be live with you today. I am going to be kicking off a mini training again this week. And the main focus of this training is going to be all about why early pregnancy is the best time to be planning for your postpartum timeframe and your transition into parenthood. So I'm going to be sharing 3 reasons why this is such a critical time frame to be doing your preparations, your planning, getting all your ducks in a row for your postpartum timeframe. And today is going to be reason 1, which is preparation. So I'm going to talk about the benefits of preparing early and some of my favorite things to focus in on for your preparation for your postpartum time frame. For those of you who are new to my page, welcome. My name is Jessie Sletton. Thank you so much for following me. I am your postpartum empowerment coach, and I help you as a birth giver, an expecting parent, help you feel calm, confident, and prepared, which is all about today, right? For your transition into parenthood as you do for your birth. So much of our time and energy and prep goes into birth planning. And when we finally arrive to the big day and we go through our birthing process and, figuring out how to let things settle and the dust settles, and we are officially in our postpartum time frame, so many of us sit there with our brand new baby in our arms and we're about to be discharged from the hospital, or we run into our first difficult roadblock with our new parenthood, whether it be for chest feeding or, figuring out how to navigate just the loneliness of parenthood that can happen sometimes, or the emotional roller coaster that we can run into, or any of the things that kind of can be a surprise for us along the way. We realize, oh crap, I didn't put very much time or thought into preparing for everything after birth. And it's my mission to change that. I am very passionate about ensuring families, birth givers, feel prepared and confident and have the resources that they need and the support team surrounding them, and being able to understand how their body changes from the inside out and how to best nourish their body in order for them to heal deeply, to connect with their baby, to be able to grow together with their partner. All of the things. Birth does not happen in a vacuum. I've said this before and I will never stop saying it. It is something that touches every aspect of our life. And it's so important that we approach entering into that parenthood with a holistic, supported approach. So if you're interested in working with me, go ahead and schedule some time. You can find it on Instagram in the link in my bio. My friends who are joining me on Facebook, I have pinned the link to my calendar in the comments so you can click on that and schedule some time with me. We'll sit down, we'll talk about what your goals are. We'll talk about where your possible roadblocks might be, your gaps in support that you might have. We'll talk about your nutrition goals. We'll talk about all the things. And we will see if my P4 program or Preparing for Parenthood postpartum planning program is the right fit for you. So let's dive into our training that we have here today. So our first reason why early planning for postpartum in pregnancy before baby gets here is so important is because you will have the time to prepare. So we're going to talk about preparation today. When we've already had our little one, we have a lot going on. We have a lot going on physiologically, biologically, mentally. We are exhausted. We are healing from our birthing wounds. We are trying to figure out latching if we're chest feeding. We're trying to figure out our new baby's personality and how we can best nurture them and support them and all of the things. The last thing that you're going to have time for is figuring out how to support yourself in postpartum, who can help you, who's there to support you, who you can reach out for if you're having trouble with your chest feeding journey. All of these things are so important to do now when you have the mental energy and the physical energy to be able to plan for this, clear-minded, have the time to do the research, look up programs in your community, all of these things. So preparation is reason number one why doing it early is so beneficial. So let's talk a little bit about what that might look like when we're trying to plan and prepare ahead of time in pregnancy for our postpartum. And the first thing that I always recommend my clients and in my program is to really focus in a holistic way on your support team. So I like to call this your postpartum village. So curating a support team, not just for birth, but for after birth and during your postpartum time frame, is one of the best things that you can do for yourself and for your family in the long run. And so it's really important that you analyze your support team now, your support systems, your family, your friends, all of those kind of things that you have available that are familiar to you, and really thoughtfully sit down and think about what type of help can these people provide you. And then you don't need to go about this in a way that's stressing you out, like, oh, I know that I have no help and it's all going to be ruined. I won't have any support in postpartum, right? That may very well be your situation, but I want you to challenge that thinking and really sit down and think about all of the people in your support realm, all of your friends and family who maybe it's your own guilt or worry about asking for that help that's getting in the way of identifying those people. So really sit down and challenge yourself to think through, even if it's something simple like somebody would be willing to walk your dog for you in the first couple of weeks postpartum. Just something even little like that can make a difference of taking something off your plate. Once you've done that and you've sat down and you analyzed familiar supports, then it's time for you to fill in those gaps. So this is what we really work on a lot in the P4 program, is once we've gone through the exercise of identifying who are your get shit done people, who are your people who are your ride and dies, who are going to be there to help you manage the emotional transition of parenthood, who are the people that can help you with meals and all of these things, that setting up meal trains, helping you, maybe make freezer meals ahead of time, all of those kind of things. Once you've identified that, there are going to be some gaps. There's always gaps, right? So we sit down and we work through what are the community resources out there? Where can we get creative with maybe delegating other tasks or hiring help, or looking at doing a trade with another parent or something like that along those lines, where we get really creative about filling in those support gaps instead of just saying, I'm going to have to go without. I do not believe that we were meant to raise children and become mothers and parents alone. It's something that we are not meant to do alone. It is very damaging that our society has shifted so far to the supermom concept, where we are expected and we believe in ourselves that we need to be doing it all on our own. And that's what a good mother does, a good parent does. And that's just not the case. We need to have these support structures in place. And another really important piece here is identifying your professional resources ahead of time. Something that I always share that I think is unique, that not a lot of people think about ahead of time, and this is perfect timing for Maternal Mental Health Awareness Week, is to identify your behavioral and mental health insurance needs. Or I'm at a loss for words here. Basically, you want to analyze your insurance coverage for mental health support ahead of time. It's really important to understand who is within your network, what kind of coverage you have with your insurance, and identify people who you feel like you might connect with, or have a handful of people you can reach out to who you know are going to be accepting clients, or who are on a continuous basis accepting clients, so that if you run into mental health struggles, you can have somebody to reach out to right away. When you're depressed or anxious or dealing with any sort of perinatal mood or anxiety disorder, or any of the symptoms that are, relevant to those type of issues, it's very difficult to do advocacy at that point for yourself because you're so in the weeds. So if you're able to have a plan and share that with your support team, you can get the help you need a lot quicker. Okay? So that's one of the main things I wanted to dive into today about preparing ahead of time, is really looking at that support team. building out your postpartum village. And that is one whole pillar that we focus on in the P4 program, and really figuring out and identifying those resources. So the other one I wanted to touch on, there's a ton that we go over in the P4 program. We don't have a lot of time on this little training here, but I wanted to give you some ways to get started. So we have the support team that we've built out, and we are starting to research and line up ahead of time. And then you also want to really think about your relationship with your partner. So this is a big one too, which is why I wanted to share this particular one with you today, that I don't think gets a lot of attention. So even other people out there, other programs, other supports out there who are supporting, people through the perinatal time frame, a lot of them focus on the birth giver, which is so important, and that's what we need to. It should be centered. Your well-being needs to be centered in the postpartum time frame. But the other aspect to that is your partnership. So if you are coupled and you're expecting, this isn't just about you and the baby's journey. Your whole family dynamic is going to shift. Your partnership is going to shift. Your relationship is going to evolve as you become parents. And I think one of the biggest mistakes that I see, or biggest challenges I see with new parents, is they did not establish or strengthen that foundation of their relationship before welcoming baby into the family. And this leaves little cracks and crevices for resentment to settle into. And resentment is one of the biggest relationship destroyers. And it's so important that we open up these communication pathways now, and to talk about, here is how I feel seen, heard, and validated. I have my little one walking in really quick. Sorry, guys. My toddler loves to say goodnight. Daddy is running with nap time, and you might hear him be sad that I'm not there. So I will apologize ahead of time. Mom life, right? Anyway, so those little crevices of resentment are what can really make us feel like our relationship is crumbling when we are new parents. And we don't want that. We want this new phase of life to be an opportunity of growth as a couple. And so really talking about the things you need to feel appreciated, to feel taken care of, to feel well rested, all of these things, we focus on this and so much more in the P4 program when it comes to your relationship, the relationship pillar that we focus in on. And we open up these communication pathways. We open up opportunities for you to share about the things that you need physically, mentally, and spiritually to really feel connected to yourself and to each other, and how you can honor that and bring some of those pieces into the postpartum time frame, even if they have to be shifted a little bit, right? From now, when you don't have baby here, or you're welcoming a second or third child, it's still going to shift, right? Because you're adding a whole nother human being to your family. And so this is a really, really important piece that we focus on in the P4 program, and giving you tools and resources to be able to grow together as a couple. There is so much more that goes into the preparation piece of why early pregnancy is the best time. But as you can see, why you want to do it early is because there's a lot to really prepare yourself for. This is a huge life change. This is not just about the birth, right? Birth is just the beginning. Another thing that I say all the time, but it's true. It's not the end all be all, right? It is a huge important piece. And I'm not saying, ignore the birth planning and just focus on postpartum. No, it needs to be a holistic lens, right? But don't neglect the postpartum planning piece of this puzzle, because it is the rest of time, right? Birth is just like a piece. It's a little stop, a little destination in our entire evolution of parenthood. And so it's so, so important that we are giving that the time and the honor and the energy, just like we are for birth planning. All right, so I have been really in my zone, and then my interruption with my toddler kind of threw me off. So I think I covered everything I wanted to, but I wanted to just double check real quick in my notes here. Another thing that you can do is look back on my feed. 2 weeks ago, I had done actually a 2-week long training on creating a postpartum recovery space. So that's a whole nother piece that you can also focus in on in early pregnancy in creating this sanctuary, this recovery space. So if that's something that interests you to learn more about, you can go back in my feed and look at that. There is 6 trainings in that, and I break down like 6 components that I recommend having in your postpartum recovery space to make it a comfortable and more convenient place for you to heal and to bond with baby. So that's a whole nother aspect. But like I said, I have so much to share about this preparation piece for postpartum. It's the entire premise of the P4 program. So if you're wanting to learn more about that, again, schedule some time with me on my calendar. It is a free clarity call. We sit down together and we talk about really all of these things and how enrolling in the program really can help you feel like you are thriving in your postpartum timeframe and not just trying to survive hour by hour, and really having those tools and resources at your disposal before baby arrives, so you feel like you've got this, because you do. All right, I don't think I had any questions, but if you have some later on, drop those in the comments below and I'll be happy to circle back around. And I look forward to seeing some of you on my calendar, and let me know how else I can help you. And we will be back here on Wednesday for part 2, which is going to be covering prevention. So we've talked about, one of the best reasons is the preparation piece. And then Wednesday, we're going to be talking about another reason why early pregnancy is the best time to plan for your postpartum, is because of the preventative factors of some of the things that we've touched on a little bit today. But I'm going to go into more detail about that. And then Friday, I will end this mini series talking about the long-term health benefits of preparing for postpartum in early pregnancy. So follow along. Be sure you share with any expecting parents you might know who would benefit from this little series. And I will see you all back here on Wednesday. Thank you so much. Bye.